a lot of us struggled today, and maybe you were a little bit frustrated, but honestly, like, I need you to know that I saw very many moments today where it wasn't about you struggling, it was about you, like, pushing through. And that's going to happen all year long. It's going to happen all year long for my class, for your other classes, and all of middle school, high school, and life, that we're going to have to experience things that are hard for us, but it's not important that they're hard for us. It's important that, like, we push through them. And I am, like, genuinely really, really proud of all of my students. It was definitely challenging, but you did it, and I hope that you left with a little bit more of a clear understanding of what was expected for a serial paragraph. But if not, I'm gonna go through, just like the run through of, like, what was expected of you. So, first of all, like, subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. I don't believe in that. All right. So first of all, we have the serial paragraph, right? So in our serial paragraph, the serial stands for C is our claim, E is evidence, the R is reasoning, the second E is evidence, A is another reasoning, and then your L, your L is linking all of the evidence back to the claim. We see it says right here, it links all of our evidence back. So with our claim, it has to be clear. And think of it like this: your claim, whatever it was about, it has to be focused. So for example, if you're choosing to write about how the hero's journey aligns with the lightning thief, or I'm sorry, vice versa, the lightning thief aligns with the hero's journey because Percy Jackson has an ally, you wouldn't say Percy Jackson has an ally and in the lightning thief the hero feels out of place. Those two things, they do not go together, so that would not be clear, right? All right, so we go through that. Our examples, we have all of our sentence starters here. I know that some of them were a little bit unclear, so please just know that you can change sentence starters. They're really a support, okay? So don't ever think that, like, my way is the only right way. Whatever helps you is what's going to be the best. So moving on here, because this is where we were stuck. So we have our whole outline, and in the outline we have our claim, evidence, reasoning, evidence, another reasoning, and a link. So for example, Percy Jackson's experiences align with the hero's journey because. So in this section, what is so important for us to understand is we're writing about we can't see me, huh? Two. There you go. Let me make this easier on myself. I never done this before on a screen cast. All right. There are two things in your claim. So for example, Percy Jackson's experiences align with the hero's journey because Percy has an ally or a helper, and in the hero's journey, the hero has a helper. The claim should be simple, straight to the point. A lot of us want to, like, make things, like, all nice and pretty, and that's perfectly okay if you're writing, like, a story. But we're writing an analytical paragraph, and with that, yes, it needs to sound good. Yes, like, the grammar needs to be good, but it's very straight to the point, okay? So I hope that clears up anything for the claim. What we were really confused about, I feel like everyone pretty much got the claim down before they left, but what we're really confused about is our evidence. So here it says an example of when Percy is. What does that mean? That means that you are going to provide context for the reader. Context is giving the reader a little bit more of background information. So if you were to just put some evidence here, like according to the lightning thief, this is not evidence, so please do not write this down. It's really just an example. According to the lightning thief, the creature, or no, it had infer that blah 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 blah. Okay? Obviously that's not evidence. So what if you're putting this and you have no excuse me, you have no context sentence? Is your reader gonna know what you're talking about? Probably not. Okay, anything can have fur. Now, if you put an example of when Percy is experiencing the sight of a supernatural creature, the Minotaur, you are now telling the reader that not only is Percy seeing a creature, but it is specifically a Minotaur. A Minotaur is a creature, a monster that you will never see in real life. You will never see a half man, half bull. It's fake, right? When you give the context here, you are now providing the reader with background information. You have to pretend that the reader, who is me, and sometimes other people might read your work, we don't know what you're talking about, so you have to fill us in before you give evidence, or else it's just or else the evidence is literally just like put there, and that makes no sense. It's like if I'm teaching and I give no background information, and like you're gonna be like, what is she talking about? It wouldn't make sense. Make sure when you're providing evidence, we're using page 33. So on page 33, you had evidence from the Lightning Thief and the Hero's Journey, right? So with that, you have both of the evidences already provided for you. What's really important about this is that if you're writing about supernatural creatures here, the evidence needs to be the evidence about a supernatural creature from page 33. This evidence in the hero's journey needs to be about supernatural creatures from page 33. So if you don't mind, really quickly, I have a lot of tabs open. Life of a teacher, y'all. All right, I think it was this one. Okay, so really fast, let me show you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is what we worked on, right, in class. This is your page 33, right? So here you have a quote from the Lightning Thief. You also have a quote from the hero's journey, and then we were explaining the relationship between the two. So for example, in your evidence, if you were to talk about if you're talking about a mystic object, okay, for example, remember this whole video is just examples. Do not use my words as your words on your paper, please, because I want you to use your own original thinking. This purpose of this video is to really just hopefully build more understanding. If not, I'm sorry. We can talk at another time for tutoring or something. But this is just to clear any misconceptions. So here we have, with the yelp, I dodged and felt talons slash the air next to my ear. I snatched a ballpoint pen out of the air, and when it hit my hand, it wasn't a pen anymore, it was a sword. Mr. Brunner's bronze sword, which he always used on tournament day. So with that, we would take our evidence. Obviously, I can copy and paste. I have it in advantage. You have to write it. Which one was it? Not that. Not that. Where is it? All right, there it is. Okay. So an example of when Percy, you can even change it. When Percy found a mystic object was when, and then here we'll put our evidence. Okay. So obviously you can't really see that, but you would write it down. Okay. That shows what? This shows what? So in your reasoning, what I'm seeing is some of us are not practicing writing a reasoning well. Your reasoning is not restating the evidence. That is not what reasoning is. What reasoning is explaining the evidence, explaining how the evidence connects to back to the claim, because that's what the whole purpose of a paragraph is. You have your claim, which is like the top, and everything under needs to go back up to that spot. Okay, needs to connect. It needs to align. Our keyword. So then we have our reasoning there, whatever that is for you. Then next step in the hero's journey, the hero blank. So in this, what you'd have to do is you have to think about what evidence do you have from the hero's journey. So my evidence is about the heroes finding a mystic object or discover their world is in danger. So with that, we have to think in the hero's journey, what would we use for context? We could say in the hero's journey, the hero may find a magical object. Because mystic just means magical. May find a magical object that can help on their journey. Something like that. Okay, do not use that. So it says the stage, right? Now it's a little bit confusing for some of us. So what that means is this. No, I don't know what I just pressed. Okay. This is what this means. This is where you would find the stage. So we have our hero's journey. It's on page 25, 26, 27. You're only going to go to pages 25, 26. So I'm looking at the mystic object. So I'm going to look through my hero's journey and figure out, like, where did they talk about a mystic object? Well, that looks like it went to, or where did we get this evidence from? Heroes find a mystic object or discover their world is in danger. Oh, well, that looks like it's here. Now, it's not exactly the same, but we see right here, heroes find a magic object, which is obviously it's mystic, but or discover the world is in danger. Well, that is the call to adventure. So every single act of the hero's journey has stages, right? Act 1 is called separation, but there's stages within the act. So we have the ordinary world, call to adventure, entering the unknown, supernatural aid / meeting the mentor. Those 4 stages in Act 1 are the ones that you will probably be referring to in your paragraph. However, there is one more in Act 2, initiation and transformation, that you might refer to, which is allies and helpers. Okay? But mine is the call to adventure. So I would go back to my paragraph and I would put this stage, the call to adventure of the hero's journey states, and then you would put, the evidence from here. Remember, it's right next to the one from the lightning thief. Put that there. There you go. Okay? Don't forget quotation marks. Do not forget periods. Why? Because it's part of the rubric and I want you to get a 4. Now, another reasoning. You're reasoning this evidence. Remember, you're not repeating the evidence. You're not putting it in your own words. You are explaining it. Please remember, you are explaining it. So important. All right, last one, our link. So remember, according to the purpose of a serial, the link is a sentence that links all of your evidence back to your claim. That means it makes a connection. Does not mean you say, all of this proves how Percy Jackson's experience aligns with the hero's journey. The link is not repeating your claim or restating your claim. That is what it is not. When we restate ourselves and I read your paragraphs, it's just a lot of repetition. And it's a little bit hard for me to follow, and I want us to become strong readers, so please make sure, you don't repeat yourself, because then you don't get to make the point that you want to make. So yeah, that's it. I really hope that this was helpful.